Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for popping on. I know your time is really valuable, but it's really good to see all of your faces, those of you that I see. And really, when you pop on to calls like this and listen to calls and read books and attend conferences and really challenge yourself to grow and learn, you are investing in yourself, and you're investing in your team, and you're investing in all those people that don't know that they need Plexus, but desperately, desperately, desperately need it. So a lot of times those people are not going to thank you, but I just want to thank you for taking the time to invest in yourself and taking the time to get the tools you need to be successful so we can reach more people and help more people. So I know on this call, there's probably some of you that are brand stinking new that really have never had a conversation with someone about Plexus. So you're going to get some nitty gritty and really good information. There's probably a lot of you that have just started that are kind of wondering, like, am I doing this right? Am I saying the right thing? I don't know what I'm supposed to say. And then there's a lot of you that I know have been doing this for a while. So I know you know what to say, but you're probably here to learn just tips on how you can help your team and tips on how you can just be more effective. So thank you for tuning in. You'll probably hear my baby in the background a little bit. But tonight, really what I want to cover is really exactly what I say when I'm talking to someone. So I'm not necessarily going to give you an exact script. However, if you're on Team Espling, I actually have already done that. If you go in the files, there's a file that's called How to Respond to Facebook Interest. Now, it's more geared toward when somebody comments on something and you don't know how to proceed next. It's literally what I say almost every time. So you can definitely log on to Team Espling and check that out. If you're not on Team Espling, I can get you that document in another way. But I'm going to cover some of that tonight, but really give you kind of big picture and specific words that I use, specific words I don't use, and kind of the heart and kind of the overarching theme to when I'm having a conversation with someone about Plexus. Today was a really cool day. I got to go to a leadership conference. It was a church leadership conference. And one of the key speakers was the CEO of John Maxwell's companies. All 6 of his companies, this guy is the CEO. His name is Mark Cole. And so he gave us really great leadership lessons. And one of the things was about influence. And I thought it so applies to our Plexus business in everything in our life, but especially on this topic about, what do I say to people? And he said, every person wants to know the answer to 3 questions. Number 1, do you authentically love me? Number 2, can you help me? And number 3, can I trust you? So scaling back again, do you authentically love me? Now, if we're thinking about people that are going to reach out to us that might possibly be a customer or an ambassador, obviously sometimes we hardly know people that become our customer ambassadors. I'm not talking about that type of deep love, but a care for someone. They want to know, do you care about me? Do you really care about me? Number 2, can you help me? That's a big question that people have. They may not say it explicitly, but do your products really work? Are they really going to help me? Sure, I saw that testimonial of that girl that you posted, but is it going to help me? And number 3, can I trust you? That is a huge, huge, huge component. I can say for myself, I feel like my business has been built on the fact that people know me. They know my character, and they know that they can trust me. And so many times we have to remember people, yes, they're buying Plexus, but they're really buying you before they buy Plexus. Because if they feel like you're phony and you're just a salesperson and that you don't care about them, they're not interested in what you have, no matter how good it is. Think of if you were at a car dealership, and the guy was so sleazy, all he wanted to do was make a sale. You knew what car you wanted, but you were not going to go through that person. It's the same way with us. We really have to make sure that we're articulating and answering those questions. Do you love me? Can you help me? And can I trust you? So I'm going to go through what it looks like for me when someone expresses interest. So just for the sake of social media, I'll use Facebook as an example. So I post on social media, and if you're brand new, this will probably happen. You'll post something, and your family and friends have no idea what Plexus is, and you'll get all kinds of messages. What is this? How much does it cost? What is this? How much does it cost? Give me more information. And it bombards you at first because you're not prepared for it. Now, if you've been doing this for a while, it'll probably not come in at the same rapid rate, but you'll probably still get messages like that. So first, I'm going to give you 10 things in responding to interest. Now, on Facebook, the number one thing I would say is that you need to have presence. You need to have a Facebook presence, posting consistently every day, all the time. I've been doing this 2.5 years now. I've been posting every day for 2.5 years. Now, if you're not posting on Facebook and maybe you're just having conversations with someone, is Plexus part of your life? Do you have that presence of Plexus? Because if you don't, they may not want to ask for more information because they don't know if you're still doing it. They don't know if it's still part of your life. They don't know if they should ask. So number one, you need to have that presence. After they say, hey, I want more information, or what is this Plexus thing? Number two, you're going to want to connect. And you're going to connect personally through Facebook Messenger or a conversation or a text message. You're not going to spill it all out there on Facebook. So you're going to want to personally message them. The next thing you're going to do is you'll have presence on Facebook. You're going to connect with them personally on Messenger. Number three, you're going to ask questions. This is the biggest thing that I think a lot of people neglect. They just want to tell them all this information, vomit all this Plexus information on them. But you don't need to be a commercial. You want to have a conversation. I'll say that again. We're not here to just have a commercial. We're here to have a conversation with someone. So when you message them and they and say, hey, I saw that you were interested in Plexus. Plexus is an awesome health company that has great supplements. What are your health goals? Or what attracts you to Plexus? Or can I ask, do you have any health issues? Are you on any medications? And so right there, I'm asking a question about them and getting them to talk about why they're interested. Oftentimes people want to spill out all this information, but it's too much. And honestly, my needs are probably very different than someone else's needs. And so I've got to know where they're at. So question. Another thing about a question, here's a tip for every interaction you have on Facebook, as much as you can, end with a question. So anytime I follow up with anybody, it could be just ambassadors I haven't talked to in a long time, ambassadors I talk to regularly, potentials, I normally always end with a question because, again, I want to have a conversation. And it could be about Plexus or it could not be about Plexus. Again, it's not me spitting out information. It's me having a conversation. So that leads me to number 4, care and ask them about non-Plexus things. So literally you can integrate that into your conversation and you're saying, yeah, Plexus is a health company. What kind of health issues do you have? And they tell you, I have whatever they're going to list off. And you say, oh, wow, I know so many people that have been helped with those specific issues. How's your daughter doing? I saw that you posted a picture of her at soccer. Does she play soccer now? I can't believe she's so big. How old is she? And so again, through that, you're having a conversation. It's not just about Plexus, and you're showing that you care about them. You're showing that you're interested in their life. And I promise you, people will listen if they feel like you care. It's going back to those questions at the beginning. Do you love me? Can you help me? Can I trust you? So number 4 is care. Ask them non-Plexus things. Number 5, this is a huge one. Be brief. Again, we get so excited and we want to tell them everything about gut health and how gut health is related to this and, this bacteria and this fungus and all this stuff. When for some people, that is way too much information. For some people, yes, they want that. They want you to tell them more. But be brief in your responses. If your Facebook Messenger looks like this and that's all from you, you probably have said too much because you're being a commercial. You're not having a conversation. So try to condense what you're saying to smaller words so that you can integrate it with questions back and forth. Now, obviously, not everyone's going to want to have a conversation with you. Not everyone's going to want to engage with you in that way. But if you're genuine, a lot of times people really do, and they sense that. So take the time to, not take the time, just be cautious of how long your answers are. You don't need to tell them everything right away. Tell them some information. Maybe you can say the pink drink helps with blood sugar. Are you familiar with how blood sugar affects weight? And then they'll either say yes or no, and then you can talk to them about that. And so again, I'm just, building more information. So if I feel like the triplex is good for them, I'll start with the blood sugar, and then I'll say, are you familiar with how it affects weight? And then they'll talk about that. And then I'll say, it also has ProBio 5 and BioCleanse. Are you familiar with how gut health impacts your mental clarity, if that was something that they mentioned earlier? So again, it's having that conversation with them so they can understand that they can go Google that. I'm not just telling you that because I sell Plexus. You can go Google how blood sugar affects weight, how gut health affects mental clarity, and all that stuff. So far we've gone through 5 things. Having a presence, so making sure people know that you represent Plexus through your posts on Facebook or just talking about it. 2, having a personal connection, so you're going to personally message them. 3, you're going to ask lots of questions. 4, you're going to care about non-Plexus things. 5, you're going to be brief in your words. 6, serve. And this is a huge one. Serve them. Make it all about them. What's best for them and how can you serve them? I know this is really different than how probably you might have thought coming into network marketing, like, oh, this is for me, I'm going to build my business. And yes, we are all about building our business, but I'm also about serving that person in the best way possible and what makes sense for them and their family, what makes sense for them and their health. And so make sure your heart is in that place. And, you don't need to say that necessarily, but maybe you do too. I had a friend, actually, she's a high-ranking person in another company that sells oils. And she had reached out to me, or I had reached out to her, just said, girl, I love network marketing. I love, that you're doing so well in it. And I said, I've done oils, but I haven't really, dived into it. And she's like, I can totally teach you. And I said, okay, yeah, that's fine. And I'll buy something too, girl. I don't want to waste your time. And she said, you know what, Janelle, my priority is to serve people and teach people. And if they buy, that's just an added bonus. And that just spoke so much to me about her character. And so I just want us to be in that same way. Like, hey, I'm here to educate you about gut health and blood sugar and how it really affects your whole body. I really think this is going to help you in your whole life. If you choose to say, this is not for me, that's cool. We're still friends, but I'm just here to serve you. Number 7 is follow-up. Now, this is the biggest area that I feel like people neglect. And people will say, oh, I post and, I just tell people about Plexus, but nobody will buy. Nobody buys from me. And, I followed up. I've gone over and over and over. Here's the thing. Most people will not buy on the first time. It is a very rare, it's such a small percentage that someone reaches out to you and they buy right then and there. Think about your own journey. Most of you have probably took a while. I know I took a month and a half and even told my sponsor, no, I don't want to anymore. And she still followed up with me. And I was like, oh, I don't know. We don't have money. I don't know. And then finally she followed up again and I signed up. So this really speaks to, us needing to kind of get over our pride, because I think sometimes we're like, oh, I don't want to bug them. I don't want to do that. But really, again, if you have the mindset of, I'm here to serve them and I know this is going to be a blessing to them, so I'm just going to follow up. If they tell me no, I'm not going to take it personally. It's not going to hurt my feelings. Okay, it's not for them. So really, I want you to keep a goal in mind. Most people don't purchase until they've had 5 to 8 follow-ups, sometimes up to 12 follow-ups. So that's a personal message. Hey girl, we have this 15% off promo code. I know we talked about how you really wanted to work on getting your blood sugar regulated. I just want to see if you were ready to order. And no response, and no response, and over, no response. I want to encourage you that just because somebody doesn't respond to you doesn't mean they're not interested. I want you to continue to follow up with them, because I promise I have people that I literally have followed up with for over a year. And recently this is my like, okay, I've stalked you enough. This is my last message. Like, okay, hey girl, I don't want to bug you. I promise if you tell me you're not interested in Plexus, I won't message you anymore. I just wanted to message you because we have a 15% off promo code right now. And I wanted to see if you were at all interested. And I tell you 9 times out of 10, they say, oh, no, you're not bugging me. I'm sorry. We just don't have money right now. Or I'm sorry, I haven't gotten back to you, or whatever reason they have. They don't know what to say a lot of times. They don't know how to admit they don't have money, or they don't want to admit that they're interested, but they really are still interested. So I'm kind of harping on this because I think this is the number one way people don't get people to buy, is because they quit too soon. They stop following up too soon. I'm telling you guys, I've been doing this 2.5 years. I still have people that have literally watched me from day one. Day one, they've watched my entire journey, and they're just now signing up. So that just speaks to the fact that when it's time, it's time. And sometimes it's just not the right time for people. We are just literally serving and offering a service, offering a product, offering an incredible opportunity. And when they're ready and in the right time, they'll jump in. So number 7 is follow up. How do I follow up? I forgot to mention. So a big excuse to follow up is when you have a promotion. Right now is the biggest reason. If you haven't followed up with your potentials, inactive ambassadors, inactive customers, even current customers, reach out to them and tell them about the 15% off promo code if they haven't already used it. This is huge, you guys. 15% off. I don't know if you guys have used it. All of you ambassadors, this is open to you as well. If you order $200 worth of product and you're getting 15% off, that's like $30. That's a lot of money. That's a big savings. So make sure you're reaching out to everyone and telling them about that. Other great excuses to follow up are events. So like I mentioned, on the 15th, if you're a local ambassador, we're having a meeting on the 15th at Benedict Castle. So that's a great way to follow up with someone. Another great excuse is if you see an article. It doesn't even have to say Plexus, but say you see an article about gut health and Alzheimer's or something, and they mention something about that, or something that's part of their family history, and you just see the article and you send it to them. That's one way to follow up. Sometimes you'll see a testimonial that will be, exactly what they're going through, and you can look for a testimonial. It doesn't have to be something that pops up. And when you see that, send that to them and just say, hey, I saw this. It reminded me of our conversation. It thought of you and I wanted to send this to you. What do you think? Always end with a question. Another way that you can follow up with someone is just messaging them, and it doesn't have to do with Plexus at all. Because most likely when you message them, they're going to be thinking, oh yeah, Plexus. Even if you don't even mention Plexus. If you just say something like, wow, you're about to graduate from, with your master's degree. I have so much respect for you. Way to go, girl. How's that going? I'm sure it's hard towards the end. Something like that. And just you messaging them, again, just communicates that care for them as a person. And then it'll open up their heart to think, maybe they really do care about me. Maybe I really can trust them. Maybe they really can help me. And I'd say all this to say, don't be fake and try to have all these fake relationships. I want to challenge you to, if you don't already, to open up your heart to genuinely really care about people and their well-being. And if they buy Plexus from you, that's just like the icing on the cake. And so follow-up, again, is huge. Try to just message people, Plexus, non-Plexus, don't give up. I promise you, people will join in the right time if it's right for them. Number 8. Explain. So explain the different ways to buy. What I do is I typically, number 1, I have it all saved on my phone. I do like 95% of my business on my phone. So I literally have it all typed out, ready to go. I'm going to post this call on the team page. And if you got this information from another team page, I'm sure you can get it from your sponsor or from myself. You can message me. I literally on my phone have everything that's kind of scripted already written out. So all this conversation I've already talked about, that's not a script. That's just, me having a personal conversation with someone. But when it gets down to explaining this is what preferred is, this is what retail is, this is what an ambassador is, I have it written out because you say the same thing every time. Why waste time and force yourself to get arthritis by typing the same thing over and over and over when you know you're going to send the same thing? So I have it in my notes section, super easy to pull up. I have the prices of, I don't think I have every single product, but pretty much all the products I typically get asked about. So it's so easy, just cut and paste. And normally what I do is I'll cut and I'll paste it, and then I'll just wait a little bit to send so it looks like I actually typed it. So that little thing looks like I'm still typing. But again, so I'm explaining the different ways to buy. So I explain, that preferred, you're going to get a discount. And so that's really a huge win for you. You have full access to your account. You can log in at any time. You can edit and change it. You just get a discount for the auto shipment. I'll remind you before your auto shipment. Retail is the most expensive way that you can buy. It's for a one-time purchase. Personally, I wouldn't recommend it, but it's up to you. That's an option that you can do. You can also sign up to be an ambassador, and as an ambassador, you get a discount, and it's our deepest discount. You get wholesale pricing, and I lost my train of thought. Oh, I was going to say, if you think you're going to spend about $100 or more a month, being an ambassador is a great way to get your product at the cheapest discount. Just for those of you that are just still learning, if they're just going to buy ProBio or just a bag of Slim, you don't want them to be an ambassador. Honestly, it's not cost effective for them because they're paying to be an ambassador. They're not really, it's costing them more than it's worth. They should just be a preferred customer. And for you, you're not going to make any money off of them, just point blank. It's better for them to be a preferred customer. So I explain all the different ways to buy. And then number 9, when they're ready and they're like, okay, I know I want to be a preferred customer. I know I want to buy triplex combo. I understand how it's going to help me. Okay, let's sign up. Then I give them my website. So do you see how that's number 9? I don't tell anybody my website until they're ready to buy. The reason being is that, first of all, I want to have a conversation. I'm not a commercial. I want to have a conversation. First, because I want to explain things. Most of the time, people don't know why would I get Ease versus ProBio? Why would I get Pink Drink versus, X Factor? They don't know. It's too much information. Just think about, when you go on a website and the information is completely foreign to you, how lost you feel. I mean, I just think about, I got new insurance. I don't know what any of that stuff is talking about because it's not language that I use every day. So you want to walk them through all of it. You're kind of like the insurance agent. You're walking them through all of it and explaining so they understand in their terms. So that's when I finally get my website. Granted, every now and again, you're going to have people that don't want to have a conversation with you. They don't want to hear it. They just want the website. Just give me your website. Just give me your website. Obviously, for those people, don't be annoying. Just give them the website. I would say most likely they're probably not going to buy. They might, but just give them the website. They don't want to deal with the conversation. But I finally give them my website, and then I walk them through step by step how to sign up. So I walk them through, okay, this is my website. Click on, shop now. Now there's going to be a pop-up that says whatever. And I just walk them through it. So it's really easy. I have it typed out. There's a graphic. I can post that again on the when I post this call, I'll post the graphics that I have just again. So it's on my phone. So it's easy. So I can literally send that message and I'm doing dishes or changing a diaper or whatever I'm doing. I'm able to do it really quickly and not say the same thing over and over. And then after they've all signed up, number 10 is you're going to give them support. You're going to congratulate them for their decision, and you're going to just support them, check in with them periodically. That's another huge thing that I see is that people sign ambassadors or they sign up customers and they don't support them. They don't check in. And the reality is somebody could get their package and then they don't know what to do, and you think they're taking their Slim for 3 weeks. And they're like, oh, I haven't even opened it. Well, guess what? They're probably not going to buy next month because they haven't been taking the product for 3 weeks. Or they haven't gotten their product for 3 weeks. There was a shipping issue. And now it's 3 weeks and they're pissed. And now you're just now getting on top of the issue. And so it's going to take them at least another week. So it's going to be a whole month. Again, they're not going to order next month. They're probably going to be mad, but you could have circumvented that all by checking in with them, a week after, or checking their tracking in your back office. So make sure you send them information on how to take the products. Don't just let the directions on the bottles explain everything. I personally walk them through it, again, because it's all brand new information. They don't know what they're doing yet. Walk them through, taking all the products. And just a tip, for those of you that are new or maybe haven't heard this before, if someone's ordering multiple products, I always tell them start one product at a time. The reason being is that gives your body a chance to respond to each product. So if I take the pink drink, then I know, okay, this is the pink drink. I understand how I feel on the pink drink. Then I introduce BioCleanse, and I understand what BioCleanse does for my body, and then I'll introduce ProBio. And I give each product a few days. Because if they take it all at once and they have a bad reaction to one or detox to one, they're just going to say, I don't like Plexus, it made me feel like crap. But really that wasn't the case. Maybe they're allergic to something in one of the products, or maybe they just had detox symptoms from one of the products. So I always explain that in detail. So just to kind of, as a synopsis, for talking to someone that is interested, number one, you need to have a presence. So talking about it, posting about it consistently. 2, you're going to connect with them on private message or text or a phone call or in person. 3, you're always going to end your conversations, especially on Messenger or text message, with a question, because you want to have a conversation. You're not a commercial. Ask them lots of questions so you know what they need. 4, you're going to care about them, non-Plexus things their whole life. 5, be brief. 6, make sure you're serving them. 7, make sure you're following up. 8, explain the different ways to buy. 9, walk them through sign up. And 10, provide support. So that's kind of the way that I go through it. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, I'm doing all that, and it's still not lining up. Well, let's kind of evaluate a couple things. Number 1, are you posting and sharing regularly? That's, again, I say these things because these are things people tell me, I do it, I'm doing all of it. And then I go and I look on their Facebook, I'm like, no, you're not. You posted once last week. You posted twice last week. Really and truly, you've got to be consistent. If you don't have a ton of time every single day, that's okay. Give it some time every day. Number 2, are you truly following up? Have you followed up at least 12 times? And I'll tell people, screenshot your conversations. I want to see what it looks like. And most of the time, they haven't done it up to 12 times. So I just encourage them. Awesome, you're following up. They haven't said no yet. Keep following up. Number 3, did you have a conversation or did you just vomit Plexus all over them? And if you're kind of beating yourself up like, oh man, I did that so much, that's okay. You can still, start from where you're at. We all make mistakes. We all start in the same place. We all do the same things that we don't know that we shouldn't do. But just pick it up from there. Number 4, this is kind of getting on to something I want to talk about in a little bit, but do you seem confident in what you're talking about? I know even when you're starting to learn, you might be thinking like, I don't know, like I'm not confident, I don't know everything. It's okay if you don't know everything, but your reply should sound confident and sound excited. Because if you're like, I'm not sure, and you don't sound like it's something they should be excited about, then they might not be excited about it. So check the way that your mindset is when you're talking to people. And then number 5, did you walk them through sign up? And truly you can do all those things. You can do everything perfectly. And some people are just not going to buy from you. They're just not going to become an ambassador. They're not going to become a customer ever. Or it might just be 3 months from now. It might be next month. It might be 6 months from now. If it's for them and it's the right time, it'll come around. We just have to do the work. So a couple of things. If you feel like you're really doing that, like really honestly and truly, you're like, Janelle, I'm doing all those things and I just feel like people don't hear me. I would also recommend, and actually not just if you're in that space, everyone on this call, I would recommend reading How to Win Friends and Influence People. That is like my number 1 favorite book on your personal growth and development. And it sounds cheesy. I was like, I don't want to read that book. That sounds dumb. But it's really, really good stuff on really how to communicate to people in a way that they'll hear you, in a way that they do feel cared for, in a way that they do feel like you have their best interest in mind. Because sometimes we think we're communicating that way, but we're not. And so I highly, highly, highly recommend How to Win Friends and Influence People. Just read a little bit a day. It will really help you, I promise. A couple things. Actually, let me see the chat really quick. Why wouldn't you want to send your website if they want to send labels? If they want labels, sorry. So that's a good question. So some people want to know the ingredients. Some people just want to know the nitty gritty. Some people maybe have medical issues or they got to clear it with their doctor and they want the ingredients. Personally, I take a screenshot. I go to my own website. I log on to plexuslib.com/Janelle Explain, and I go to the products, and I'll go to Plexus Slim or whatever the product is and find the label, and I'll screenshot it, and I'll send it to them. The reason why I do that, again, is because people get lost on the website. Personally, I would take that, and I would send it to them. And then that way, if they do need to show their doctor, it's right there on the thread. They don't have to log onto the website and maybe their internet's not working or whatever. They have it right there. They can save the picture. So that's what I would do. Another question, how many days before the auto ship do you remind your customers? Now, I know not everyone reminds their customers and ambassadors of auto shipments. Personally, I do. I don't remind all my ambassadors. I normally remind people before the 25th and 26th because that's when the bulk comes through. And I do that about 5 days before. Sometimes I'll be honest, I literally forget and I didn't write it in my calendar. So I'll give them a couple days before. I try to, if I can, write it in my calendar, all the auto shipments that I have as far as customers go, and then I try to remind them about a week ahead of time. I'm not like super strict on how many days, but give them about at least a week because some people don't check it all the time and all that stuff. Another question. Also, have you had potential sign with other ambassadors after you poured into them? Does that hurt your feelings? Definitely. Absolutely. Happens to me all the stinking time. So that's a great point in that, you know, a lot of us maybe have the same circle of people that we're around. So anytime you're talking about somebody, talking to Plexus with someone, you say, have you ever talked to Plexus? Do you know anybody else that does Plexus, or has anybody else talked to you about Plexus? Especially if you know there's a lot of people in your same circle that do it. If they've seen somebody else post about Plexus, that person hasn't had a conversation with them, they're fair to like continue with them. If someone else has talked to them about Plexus, it's really fair for you to say, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. They can give you all kinds of information and send them back to them. Now, at the end of the day, somebody's going to buy from who they want to buy from. And as many times as you send them away, they might just come back. But really, you want to have integrity in what you're doing. And if somebody has had 10 conversations with someone and you swoop in and take them because you happen to just come in on the right day, it's really not fair to do that. And so I just encourage everyone to check to make sure if anybody else has talked to them about Plexus, refer them back to the person they spoke to. But at the end of the day, like, people are going to sign up with who they want to sign up with. Does it hurt my feelings? I don't know that it hurts my feelings. I think I've gotten a thick skin through being in this industry, and you just, well, I'm glad they get to try the products. Like, I'm happy for them. So you just kind of learn to just bless and release, but try not to take things personally, because that makes it just makes it too hard. So I want to go over quickly. It won't be as long as the first part, but how I help people make the leap to becoming an ambassador. And then I want to give you just really great keywords to use and keywords to not use. So how do I help people make the leap to becoming an ambassador? Because I also hear this a lot. Like, I have so many customers. I see people with like $2,000 PV, but for whatever reason, they can't get them to transition to being an ambassador. Well, the first thing is that I share about the opportunity on Facebook and in person. I post about both. Now, I know I was like most of you in that you're nervous about posting about the opportunity because you don't want to seem like you're bragging. You don't want to seem like you're all about the money. I totally get it, but there's a way to do it tactfully. for me, I'm at a place where I'm a stay-at-home mom, and the whole reason I'm a stay-at-home mom is because of the opportunity through Plexus. Now, I wasn't always a stay-at-home mom, but when I could afford gas for my car, I would post about that. When I could go to the movies because of my Friday paycheck, I could post about that. When my car broke down and I wasn't crying because I actually had money in my account, I could post about that. So don't feel like you need to be crazy, but share about the opportunity, because like Stephanie Murray always says, most people are going to bed crying at night, not because of the 5 pounds on their hips, but they're crying at night because they don't know how they're going to make their ends meet. They don't know how they're going to get out of debt. And so you've got to share that with people. We have an incredible, incredible opportunity. Number 2 is I share the price options. So like I said, when I'm talking to people about how they can get Plexus, I just put it in there as one of the options they can choose from. Again, if they're going to get over $100 every month on a consistent basis, they really should be an ambassador. It's just cheaper. Number 3 is I reach out to my customers. If they've been on the product, say they've been on the product for a month and they're loving it, then I'll just say, hey, you love the product. Have you thought about being an ambassador? If you don't want to tell a single soul, you don't have to. You can literally just get it for the discount and just tell them how much they would save between being a preferred customer and signing up as an ambassador. And people will definitely jump in because of that. Number 4, I also explain to happy customers or even people that I'm just talking about Plexus for the first time that if they can get 3 preferred customers to order triplex, that would cover the cost of their triplex order. So honestly, that's what sold me. I didn't start with a triplex. I started with Slim and Accelerator, and we really couldn't afford it. But my sponsor said, why don't you just try to get a few customers, and at least that could cover the cost of your product. That's all I wanted to do, you guys. And I'm about to be a Sapphire ambassador. That's where I started, was just literally wanting to cover my product. So you just never know by reaching out to someone and saying like, hey, you could cover this cost. If this is a strain for you and you want to stay on the products, give them that as their opportunity. And then number 5, straight up share the opportunity with people. Share what an amazing opportunity we have with Plexus. I think the biggest reason why people have a tough time getting ambassadors is they're just literally not sharing what we have. Get yourself to opportunity meetings. There's tons of opportunities to do that online. Get yourself to ones in person if you're able to get to one locally, and bring potentials there. I promise you, they're going to want the products and they're going to want the business. You yourself study the compensation plan. I know for me, I'd never done network marketing before, so it was a very foreign to me. But once I understood how I could make money, man, it just flipped a switch for me, and it drove me in a different way to really being strategic about what I was doing. So just a few things as I'm kind of wrapping up. If you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the chat and I'll answer them at the very end. I just want to go over some wording tips, like really specific tips that I've kind of learned over the last 2.5 years. So I made a big deal about questions. I really feel like that's a big thing. Ask a lot of questions. One phrase that you can use a lot is everyone knows blah, blah, blah. Everyone knows you should be on a probiotic because they probably heard the word probiotic. And so when you say everyone knows you should be on a good probiotic, they think, yeah, I should be on a good probiotic. Everybody knows that. Or everyone knows you should be on a high quality multivitamin. Yeah, I know I should be on a high quality multivitamin. So use that, I'm not saying use it every single time, but just keep that in your bag of tricks as something that you can say, even when you're posting or just having conversations with people. A couple words to eliminate. Avoid using the words price and cost. It'll challenge you because we're just so used to typing price and cost. Try to use words like value and save. That's a big one with this promo code. I'm using that a lot. Like, this is a huge savings. This is a huge deal. Think of the words that you're using to describe things. Is it catchy? If I read that, would that inspire me to want to sign up right now? Would that inspire me to want to get that? And I'm not saying that to put too much pressure on yourself. I'm not saying these things so that you're like, oh, I don't even know what to say. But just to keep that in the back of your mind. As you start sharing, you'll just get better at it. Things will start to get easier. Another word I want you to eliminate is the word just. I realize I say this a lot when I'm typing to messages to people. I just wanted to reach out to you. I just wanted to let you know. Eliminate the word just. When you see the word just, it kind of downplays what you're saying. And so just take it out. Hey girl, thinking of you. Instead of, I was just thinking of you. Try to eliminate that word. Now this is for those of you guys that kind of have been doing this for a while and you want to kick it up a notch and you're kind of thinking of different ways to play it up. If you're just getting started, don't want to overwhelm you, but this might be something you want to think about. Last year at convention, Big Al came, and I'm not going to lie, I missed his entire thing because I was nursing. I had a 5-week-old baby, and 3-week-old baby, and I didn't get to hear it. But I've gotten to hear snippets of it, and I have his book, The 4 MLM Color Personalities. If you don't have it, I'd recommend buying it. It's by Big Al Schaefer, The 4 Color Personalities for MLMs. Now, he talks about what drives people. Now, sometimes when you're talking to a potential, you're not going to know what drives them because you just don't know them that well. But if you do know someone pretty well and you do kind of know what makes them tick, or you kind of know a little bit about them, then that will help you. So the 4 colors, there are 4 colors. The first one is blue. Blue personalities are totally motivated by fun and friendships and trips. So it's pretty easy to decipher who, Tom Schrader? Big Al Schrader. Sorry, I just saw the little chat. Those people are people that love fun. So they're probably easy to identify. They're the people always going on vacation. Maybe they were in a sorority. Maybe they were kind of the life of the party kind of thing. So those people, maybe when you're talking about the opportunity, you might want to talk about the trips that we go on and the friendships that you've made, or just all the fun that we have when you come out to an opportunity meeting. Maybe when you're inviting them to a meeting, you'll want to hype up about how fun it is and how you can win prizes. Red. A red personality is someone that wants to make the money. They're leaders. They want to take charge. And so most of the time you can kind of tell if people really want the business side. So streamline your conversation to talk about the business side. Yes, you're going to want to talk about how awesome the products are, but you're going to want to focus your conversation on how incredible our compensation plan is. Yellow people are helper personalities. So I'm totally a yellow person. If you don't know me or haven't seen my team page, you'd probably guess I'm a helper person. I was a special ed teacher. People in ministry tend to be helper people. Teachers, nurses, they tend to be people that are all about helping. So you'll notice when I talk, it's all about serving people. It's all about loving people. It's all about helping people. And so when I talk to helper personalities, I really talk about how much, what a blessing it is to be in an industry that I'm helping people. And then lastly, green personalities are those people that are facts, research, and ingredients type people. I'm not that kind of person, but there's definitely awesome people on our team that know the ingredients inside and out, that have researched all that stuff. And those people, if you're not a green personality, and they ask you questions that you don't know, it's okay to take a moment, do some research, ask your sponsor, look around, and then come back to them. So just keep that in mind. If someone's driven a certain way, you can kind of streamline your conversation to really target what is going to be meaningful to them. So all that being said, someone says, can you be all of them? Yes, sorry. For clarification, people tend to be one dominant color, but you're probably a mixture of all of them, but there's one that probably drives you the most. So I'm definitely like a yellow personality, but I probably have a little bit of blue and a lot of red because I'm okay to be, I tend to be in leadership, but I'm really low on the green part, if that makes sense. So I'm telling you all these things and you're probably thinking, how do you know all this stuff? Like, how do you know what words to use? How do you know, what to say in the order? And if that's kind of what you're thinking, I just want to encourage you. I started where all you guys started. I know because I've read books. I know because I invest in leadership. I know because I make sure if there's a corporate event like Super Saturday or an opportunity meeting or convention, I'm there. Convention, you guys, if you're taking your business seriously, you really want to build a business, you have to be at convention. There's only 750 spots left as of earlier today. So you guys, please, 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 if you want to be there, register ASAP because it's going to sell out. I know it will. So make sure you're at convention. this is how you grow, is just by popping on to trainings like this and listening to calls. Last few things as I'm closing. A big thing that I want you to keep in mind. I've kind of gone through like the nitty gritty, what to say, words. A huge thing that can set you back is your mentality. So when you are having a conversation with someone, I want you to be confident in what you're saying. Now, granted, when you're first starting out, you're not going to remember, all the details. You're not going to know everything, but be confident that we have incredible products. And even if you don't know every single detail about them, we have incredible products. And you can be confident when you're reaching out to someone. Don't feel embarrassed. Don't assume that it's too expensive for them. I think so many times we project that onto people. Oh, they're going to think it's too expensive. And we already kind of nudge them to the side. No, this is not expensive when it changes your whole life. No, it's not. It's not. It's an investment in your health. It's an investment in your future. Don't assume, I'm just being annoying. All those negative thoughts that you think when you're messaging people, somehow that gets filtered into your conversation, whether you say it or not. So as soon as you think that negative thought, whether it's, I'm being annoying, you need to replace that thought with a correct thought. Replace that thought with, you know what? I hold something in my hand that could change this person's life. I'm so thankful that God trusted me with this, and I'm going to message them. And if they take it, I'm overjoyed. And if they don't, that's okay with me too. It was just my job to tell them about it. So I really want you to keep that in your mind, what you're telling yourself, those lies that you're playing over and over, and really start to re-script those things that you think. So as I close, I want you to, again, just think about those 3 things that Mark Cole taught me today. Ask yourself, when you're talking to people, when you're following up with people, when you're dealing with your team, anybody really, people want to know the answer to these 3 questions. Do you love me? Can you help me? And can I trust you? So that's it for what I had for tonight. I'm going to check and see if there's any other questions in the chat. How much is convention? I don't remember off the top of my head. Is it $97 still? If anybody knows off the top of your head, you can reply. $99. Thank you. Yes, if you can go, I promise you it's worth it. It's going to be so much fun. It's in Vegas, first of all. And so how fun is that? We get to be in Vegas at the MGM. And it's going to be fun. And I'll tell you this. So I'll tell you my story. When I started with Plexus was not like a known thing in California. And for the most part, like most people don't know about Plexus. And you kind of can feel like a little island, right? Like you don't see Plexus people every single day. It's not like going to a job because you do it from home. When you go to convention and you're surrounded by 10,000 ambassadors that freaking love Plexus and you get spoiled by Plexus, I'm telling you, like I do events for church, so I know how much certain things cost. I know how much a banner costs. I know how much tables and like the covers for the tables cost and cups. And you come to a convention and they spoil the crap out of you. You realize like we are dealing with a big fish, you guys. Like this company is the real deal. They treat you so well, and you're going to get such good training. You're going to get really poured into and amped up for whatever you have ahead. I promise you, if you're serious about your business, you need to be at convention. And even if you're thinking like, I don't even have enough money, like I don't have anybody on my team, maybe you will by convention. Maybe if you change your mindset and you're working your business and you're growing your business, you can make enough money to get there. And we have convention credits, so you can earn even your registration back, which is such a huge blessing. So looks like I have, somebody says, is it okay if my room isn't at the MGM? Absolutely. That's the beauty of Vegas. You could go anywhere. There's tons of options as far as where to stay. So anyways, I'm going to wrap it up because I know this has been a longer training session. I normally try to keep it half this time, but I wanted to make sure I was really detailed. Thank you guys again for coming on. I'm just so thankful that I get to do this Plexus journey with all of you guys, and have a good night. Bye.